Hello friends, how are you all? So in the last episode of Flash, we saw that Barry, who had acquired the power to do anything with super speed, Iris was becoming quite influenced by the deeds of your Flash, that is Barry's other form, since Iris still didn't know the truth about Barry.
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive. When I was a child, I saw my mother killed by something impossible. My father went to prison for her murder. Then an accident made me the impossible. To the outside world, I'm an ordinary forensic scientist. But secretly, with the help of my friends at Star Labs, I fight crime and find other metahumans like me. And one day I will find who killed my mother and get justice for my father. I am the Flash.
So let's start our episode 5 with this recap, where in the very first scene, we find Barry, Caitlin, Cisco, and Eddie together at a party. In another scene, we see a woman who is secretly checking a file stored in a records room. Just then, the security guard of that floor arrives, seeing whom the woman throws a bag towards the guard, resulting in a massive explosion. Then, on the other hand, we see that even after taking many shots, there are no changes in Barry's body. Caitlin says, "Next time, I'll bring you a special shot." Just as Eddie gets news of an explosion in the building, Eddie leaves from there, and along with him, Barry, Cisco, and Caitlin also leave, while Iris secretly reaches the scene since Iris was convinced the man in the red suit would definitely come here to help people. Just then, Barry arrives as the Flash and rescues a person trapped in a fire, bringing them down where Iris is also standing. Seeing Iris, Barry pauses for a moment to look at her and then leaves for where Joe is, and Barry arrives at the same building for an investigation, where they learn from an injured security guard that last night he saw a redhead woman searching for something in the record room. Barry goes into that record room and, using his super speed power, checks all the file drawers where he finds a file placed upside down, which Barry, Eddie, and Joe take back to the police station, where the head of the department tells them that the Army will now be working on this case, so hand over any related evidence found to General Eiling. While handing over the evidence box, Barry uses his powers to stealthily take the file found in the record room. Joe finds it strange that General Eiling suddenly appeared in the department and showed a lot of interest in the case, so Joe wants Barry to inform the team at Star Labs so they can investigate it. In the next scene, we are shown in Star Labs, where just hearing General Eiling's name, Dr. Harrison Wells, reveals that 10 years ago, General Eiling had contracted with them for gene therapy for soldiers. Eiling wanted the capability to read minds from others. Wells thought it would be for the good of the country, but as he got to know Eiling's intentions, he felt they were not right, so he began to question it and eventually broke off their contract. Hence, the Central City Police Department, through updated digital evidence, locates the redhead woman who was previously an explosive ordnance disposal officer in the Army, where her address is also mentioned, leading Barry to meet this red-haired woman. In haste, her hand accidentally touches Barry's suit, causing her to panic and ask Barry to take off his suit because her touch had turned Barry's suit into a bomb. This red-haired woman was also a meta-human, where at work Barry quickly removes his suit and throws it away, causing a big explosion, which allows the woman to escape. Back at Star Labs, Barry informs his team about the woman's truth, and also reports the explosion of his suit. Cisco says, "I have more," and then Dr. Harrison Wells says, "Okay, so this is the reason why General Eiling has taken this case under his control. Eiling knows that Betty, the red-haired woman, has unique abilities." In a conversation, Joe pulls Barry aside and tells him that he learned from his colleague that Iris was at the explosion site last night, where Iris had told him she's writing an article about the Flash to post online, which could be very dangerous for Iris. Barry therefore needs to stop her from posting it. Then, Barry discovers from hacking into General Eiling's security that his entire force is currently stationed under the Angle building, meaning Bette must be there too. Caitlin notes this is indeed the building of the doctor who has performed multiple operations for missions on Bet before. This explains why Bet was looking for her medical file that day, because she wanted to understand the changes happening in her body. Meanwhile, Barry arrives at the building to protect Bet from General Eiling, where a bullet hits him near the boot due to gunfire. Barry convinces Bet and brings her to Star Labs, where Dr. Harrison Wells explains to Bet about the particle accelerator explosion and the strange light it emitted, which turned Bet into a metahuman. When Caitlin is checking up on Bet, she finds a bullet on Bet's arm, which was actually a tracker, leading General Eiling directly to Star Labs. Dr. Wells instructs his team to conduct their examination outside and sends them away through the back. After General Eiling's thorough search of Star Labs, Bet is nowhere to be found. General Eiling, after leaving, warns Dr. Wells to stay away from these matters while they test Bet's powers. After their examination, Bet asks Barry if they can ever be normal. Joe calls Barry, informing him that Iris has posted about the Flash again, and this time she's even revealed her identity, urging Barry to act before any harmful metahuman uses this information to reach Iris and cause harm. Next, we see Barry, as the Flash, meeting Iris to persuade her not to post anymore, during which Iris reveals she's doing all this for her childhood friend Barry. She talks about the yellow light that took her mother's life, a story Barry has shared since childhood, which people thought was crazy. However, Flash, appearing like a red comet, is similar to Barry's story, so Iris wants the world to know his truth, so no one thinks Barry is crazy. Barry tries to convince Iris again that this could be very dangerous and requests her to stop posting. Then, at Star Labs, Caitlin tells Bet that her body has completely turned into a bomb and she might never be able to become normal again, which leaves Bet feeling hopeless and she isolates herself. Dr. Wells convinces his team that Bet has become dangerous and suggests she should be sent away from Star Labs. Simultaneously, Dr. Wells emotionally manipulates Bet into thinking she should end General Eiling since he is the root of all problems and is looking to capture her, suggesting she could finish Eiling herself. Barry, sharing his feelings with Joe, mentions how difficult it is to hide the truth from his friend Iris, expressing the burden of his secret. Joe suggests that Barry should reveal his true feelings to Iris, reminding him of their close bond. Barry returns to Star Labs where Dr. Wells informs him that Betty has left without notice. Cisco, hacking into General Eiling's security, locates Eiling's current location, prompting Barry to search for Bet. Betty attempts to kill Eiling but is stopped by Barry, who tries to prevent her from committing the act. However, Eiling defends himself and shoots Betty, which appears to kill her on the spot. Betty's body begins to glow, signaling her imminent explosion, which Barry reports to his team. Caitlin explains that Betty's body, now a bomb, must be taken far from the city to prevent any damage from her explosion. Barry, using his super speed, carries Betty's body away from the city to the sea, ensuring the explosion causes no harm. The news falsely reports General Eiling as the hero who saved the city from Beta, a dangerous human bomb. Caitlin reveals to Barry the one positive outcome. They discovered Barry can run on water using his super speed. Barry once again tries to convince Iris to refrain from posting about the Flash, but she remains firm in her decision, leading Barry to declare he can no longer stay with her if she continues. The episode concludes with General Eiling threatening Dr. Wells, promising to expose his secrets to the world, while Dr. Wells counters with threats of his own, suggesting Eiling should worry about his own secrets being exposed. The episode ends with a flashback to 5 years prior, showcasing Dr. Wells breaking his contract with General Eiling and expelling him, reassuring a creature that Eiling has left and there's no longer any need to fear. This episode of Flash closes with the promise of revealing more about the characters' pasts and setting the stage for future conflicts and revelations. So, friends, if you're interested in continuing the series, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see the next part of this. Thanks for watching.